has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
What up, though, people? Wake up, we appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the Woo Crucial Boy.
Hey, Charles.
Pistons reporter right for the network. We got Flannel saying the better the squad, the better the network. All sports knower. And you know what, man? Yes, I got my big shades. Of course I do.
Oh, yeah.
58-34 for those Tigers. 5-1 victory over Tampa Bay. It's feeling nice to be in Detroit Tigers.
Yes, they just keep winning. They're like, they just keep hammering along, coming off of a sweep, winning game 1 against Tampa Bay. You know what? What more can you say about this team? I know we're going to break it down more in a minute because I do think there's a couple of things that stood out to me, but man, so many victory shows. It's a great day to be alive.
So many victory shows, even the most bullish of us, man. It's not as if, we really thought that we would have this many, man. This many victory shows and before All-Star break. And you know what? Shout out to the Detroit Tigers for having tied for the second most All-Stars as well at 4. Shout out to them, man. What a hell of a first half for the Tigers, and I do expect them to continue this thing on. So, got the victory shades on. You in the chat, if you got your victory shades or if you want to throw the emoji in there with the victory shades, definitely let's do this thing because we're going to have some fun. You want to tell the people what else is on the menu?
Absolutely. We got lots of Tigers. I think a pitcher stood out. Obviously, I know everybody in the chat is going to be like, oh, my sweet Javi, Flannel, you're wrong. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. We will talk about it. Shout out to Javi for a big 2-run home run, and he's had a very, very good year. We're also going to talk a little bit of Pistons because one of the targets appears to be gone. Gone to the Los Angeles Clippers and the Heat.
I think it's our fault, too.
Hey, maybe. And the Heat ended up getting a player out of that trade. And also, the Dennis Schroeder trade went through. On surface, it might not seem too exciting, but there are some details that we are going to parse through. And it may end up being a good thing what they ended up getting in return. But, yeah, a lot of Tigers, a lot of Pistons on the menu today.
Hey, let's rock. And you know what? When we talking about the Detroit Tigers, this thing is just like, hey, listen, copy, paste. It's another series that I do believe is going to be theirs. And it's not like this one is one that's against a slouch. This is what we come to know about the Detroit Tigers. But coming into the series against the Rays, I expected it to be another one of those handle your business series. Not just because of how good the Detroit Tigers record is, but because of how much better I think they are than some of these teams that are middling, some of these teams that are competing for some of the lower spots in the playoffs. I believe that the Detroit Tigers are an elite MLB team. And when you come up against teams like the Rays, if you get a little bit of chance to flex a little bit, you go out there and you flex a little bit. And I absolutely love that. When you pair this up with what they've been doing recently, I love how they're going out there and they're putting other teams' offenses in a straitjacket. That's what I love. I'm seeing a lot of zeros and a lot of ones for these other teams in recent games for the Tigers. So they're going out there and they're just doing more than handle business. I think that they're flexing a little bit.
Yeah, and one thing stood out to me last night. I mean, a lot of things stood out, but I think, and maybe it's going to sound weird who I'm about to simp for, but you know what? Roll with it.
Javi?
I think Heider Montero gets a little bit disrespected in this town, believe it or not. And I get it. A lot of people's first thought when it comes to Heider Montero is, yeah, he can start some games in the regular season. He can open some games. Obviously, he has shuffled between AAA and the majors throughout the last couple of years. But, man, he can be big time at times. And when it comes to, Justin, if you have that Heider Montero graphic, you can put that up. If you don't, I will just read it. But this season, Heider Montero, he's pitched 62 innings, 4-1, 3.77 ERA, and 42 strikeouts. Not great or anything, but been pretty reliable when he's been on the mound. But where it's really impressive, and I think people forget about this, Heider Montero actually pitched in the playoffs last year. Not as like a starter, but he gave you 3 innings. He gave you 0 earned runs, only 1 hit, 0 walks allowed. So that's good for a 0 ERA and a .33 whip. I'm not saying that Heider Montero is somebody that the Tigers are going to have to rely upon heavily. Like, I don't think he's going to make 3-4 starts in the playoffs barring injury. But I do think when it's all said and done, when the Tigers ultimately, I'll say if for now, but if the Tigers end up getting the 1 seed in the American League, Kiter Montero is going to make some starts, and he's going to make some appearances, and he's going to pitch well a couple times. He might have a couple of times where he doesn't, but Kiter Montero is valuable to this team, even if to some of the fans he's more of a punchline.
I mean, even when you're talking about the depth that we hope this team can have come playoff time, right? We're hoping that this team goes and does something to shore up stuff, not just to make sure that we can stave off any types of droughts or dips in this pitching staff, whether it's the starters, the bullpen, how AJ Hinch loves to use the bullpen chaos. But we want to make sure this squad is legit come playoff time and can continue to do what we've seen them do. They're going and putting teams in straitjackets. I think that they have even more of an opportunity to do that in the playoffs when you get the rotation shortened up. But you want to make sure you can keep those starters as fresh as possible. This is where these players, they do offer you great opportunity to be able to add to that depth and be able to have a sure rotation. I remember back in the day, we would call up players, and sometimes they didn't present the potential that I look at a playoff roster. I'm looking at expanded roster call-ups that our team is going to be able to have. We already talked about the fact that they're still waiting for other players to get back, both bats and some arms to be able to stabilize a little bit. This Tigers team has so much more to go, and I do believe that the more you have figured out as it relates to these arms, the better for this Tigers team, and how much better does it allow them to deal at the trade deadline?
Hey, and that's definitely more to come on that in the upcoming shows. But thank you, Justin, for that. Kiter Montero, he's been better than people think, in my opinion, and I think the numbers bear that out. But I think Kiter Montero is also World Series teams, believe it or not, even ones that you think are juggernauts, even last year's Dodgers, even the year before Texas Rangers, they all have flaws. You can't expect to have 5 number 1 starters. And I'm not saying that Tigers fans think that that's the expectation, but you look at last year's Los Angeles Dodgers, Jesus Christ, Los Angeles Dodgers. Jack Flaherty was terrible in the playoffs. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's true. He had a 7.36 ERA. It didn't matter. The Dodgers still won. Ben Kasparius started a freaking playoff game. Ryan Brazier started a playoff game. Have you heard of those guys? A lot of you probably haven't. I'm not mad at you if you hadn't. I hadn't fucking heard of Ben Kasparius. 2023. Did you know that Max Scherzer on the World Series winning Texas Rangers was terrible in the playoffs? In 2022, Lance McCullers and Justin Verlander both had ERAs over 5 in the playoffs. You even go back to the 2021 Atlanta Braves. Tucker Davidson and Dylan Lee made starts. I know Dylan Lee's turned into a pretty good relief pitcher, but at the time he had 2 appearances in his entire career. His entire MLB career up to that point. And in 2020, when the Dodgers won it, Tony Gonsolin made 3 starts and had an ERA over 8. My point with that is you can still... Every single starting pitching rotation that ever wins a World Series, for the most part, usually has weaknesses. And I actually don't think Kiter Montero is as big of a weakness as some of previous pitching staffs. If you want to say that the Tigers' offense isn't as good as previous World Series winning teams, fine, I'll give you that, but this offense is a lot better than you think. Every World Series winning team is flawed. And I'm not saying that Kiter Montero is somebody that we should rely on for 4 starts in the playoffs, but he will play a role. Whether it's out of the bullpen, whether it's as an opener, whether it's making several starts to help them level up their record even more. Kiter Montero is valuable, and he showed it last night.
And you know what? You got some support in the chat. You know, shout out to Kellen Morrison in the chat. Montero is a 5-inning pitcher in the playoffs, and we need him to give the bullpen a break.
Yes.
I'm seeing a lot here in the chat. Super Bowl Wilson Flannel says Montero is disrespected in this town, but yet also thinks Ben Wallace doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Super Bowl Wilson, use your fucking brain. Is Ben Wallace disrespected in this town, or do I have the one dissenting opinion? That's not the same thing.
Sam on
What-
that shit.
Doctor dipshit.
what
God
about
damn, man. These
Detroit
people
on
are
that
so
shit?
obtuse, and they think that they're dunking, and they think that they're doing something, but they're actually proving that
Look,
they're
he got
idiots.
some support here, though. He says, I always question why AJ put a bullpen arm in front of him on the days he was scheduled to start. Daryl Slaughter, he has a hard time when he's coming in the middle of AJ's pitching chaos. They just need to start him normal. So
Sure,
you've got a lot of
that's
people
fine.
who are believing that this arm can be a whole lot more useful to the Tigers than not. And I do believe when you finally get to the playoffs, yes, I like that aspect of him. Because he's not – I believe it's different when you're in the pitching chaos and you're a part of like 7 guys that are going to be pitching that day versus you're relieving, maybe you're coming in for an inning or 2 behind Reese Olson or behind Flaherty or Mize or somebody of that nature. I believe that is much different than they're going to start somebody in front of you for an inning or two, and then you're going to get 2 or 3 innings, and then everybody else down the line is going to be able to get their name on the trophy too.
Yeah, no, and that's if you want to say that you'd rather have them just start games and not have openers, I'm actually okay with that right now. I'm not going to really question what A.J. Hinch has done this year because they do have a great record. They are 24 games above 500, but at the end of the day, man, it's about the playoffs, and something tells me that Kiter Montero, he will play a bigger role in the playoffs than any of you are prepared to handle, and he will do it well. He did it last year, 3 basically perfect playoff innings. And playoffs, we all know the monster that playoff baseball is. Some of the greatest names in recent MLB history and all-time MLB history, whether it's Clayton Kershaw, whether it's Aaron Judge, whether it was Bobby Witt last year. Nobody talks about how Bobby Witt shit his pants in the playoffs last year. Great players sometimes have trouble in the playoffs. It's a different pressure. And Kiter Montero, on a very small sample size, did really well last year.
Oh, we've seen it. We've been privy to that. Some Tigers teams who probably should have gotten it done, but didn't really get it
Justin
done.
Verlander in the World Series.
Yeah,
not in the playoffs, but in the World Series.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right, man. And there's a lot of other scenarios that we can think of as well, because the Tigers should have at least had 1, maybe 2. But they didn't get it done. And this is where, when we're talking about this Tigers team who's starting to, they are saying it, World Series. This came from the GM's mouth as it relates to, he's saying this is what's going to also influence our trade deadline strategy. You know what? This is where I'm hoping this team is putting themselves in position all the way. And I'm hoping with a guy like Montero that he's a guy that can add to the base as it relates to a starter during a regular season and during the postseason and be able to back up one of these starters. I really, really, really look forward to what this Tigers team is going to be come playoff time when they start to tighten up. Even though rosters expand, they still will tighten up that lineup and be able to rely on, honestly, more than just depth. These are reliable players that I do believe offer you a potential to raise your ceiling at their peak. And they haven't shown necessarily that they haven't had, like, if one of these guys aren't going, A.J. Hinch has been able to pull whatever the strings necessary to make sure that guy, hey, go grab some bench. We will get the person in that can make sure they can come through.
Well, and I see still some chatter in the chat about getting a reliever at the deadline, and I still think that they should.
Yeah.
Because, and I gave you that power stat before, and I know last year's playoffs was a little bit different, but 11 pitchers pitched in relief in 7 playoff games last year. And I understand it was more pitching chaos, but still, you need as many arms as you can. Just imagine if Tyler Holton gets back to being Tyler Holton. We have Will Vest. We have Tommy Kahnle. We have Kiter Montero as somebody in the playoffs you could either start or use out of the bullpen. Probably more likely the bullpen. Plus, you go out and get, let's just say, Kyle Finnegan or Sir Anthony Dominguez. You'd have a pretty stacked bullpen if you ask me.
That's why, Flannel, I like the idea of Montero pitching in the playoffs, and I'm not uncomfortable with it. We're talking about a guy this season who has a 3.77 ERA. Like, that's a very solid ERA, especially for a 23-year-old. And I love the fact that they do use the opener for him to be able to not put as much pressure on him for that first inning, letting the first 3 hitters, the best hitters on the team, be able to face a opener, and then letting Montero take over so he only has to face the top of the lineup twice if he goes for a quality start. So I do like the opener. I am comfortable with Montero. I think you do still need to add a piece, but I think what's most intriguing about Montero is the fact that he's going to be able to come out of the bullpen and give you 3 innings, 4 innings when maybe your starter doesn't have it that day, and be able to just eat big innings in big spots.
And Justin, to piggyback off of that before we go to break, and it's just reality. Come playoff time, a Tiger starting pitcher is going to have a bad outing. And in that bad outing, even if you need somebody to eat a few innings, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and take you home to an 8-1 loss, that'll save bullpen arms for the next game. It doesn't matter if you lose a game or 2 in the playoffs. All that matters is that you win a series. Kiter Montero will play a role. I guarantee it. That's my blood bank guarantee right now. Book it. Yes.
Hey, you know what? I want to be able to hear what KJ has to say. We're going to say what up, though, to some friends, but Weezy 313 doesn't think I've been a good friend. He says, LOL, Kool-Aid be reading the lighter fluid comments. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was one of the other ones in support of.
No,
I lost my place.
Why you lying?
I started reading it. I was like, you know what? Just go with it. Shout out to Weezy D. Shout out to you guys in the chat. I see you, Michael Wary. Dirty Dr. D. What up, though, Detroit? Gunny, Tabitha Gable, Greg, Eric Allen, John F. and Lord, Tommy K. Brian Ruth. I'm seeing all the OGs, man. I think I might have seen Freddie Feld. I'm not sure.
He's in there.
Shout
out Freddie Feld.
Shout out Freddie Feld, Terrell, Lamar, Randall, Smalls, Xavier D, Dante. Well, I could just keep going on and on and on. But you know what? You know the best thing you can do when you talking about buddies? Hey, lunch. The original Detroit style pizza has been serving the original Detroit style pizza since 1946. And 79 years later, pizza at any one of their 22 locations in the great state of Pura, Michigan. But make sure that you guys are downloaded the Buddies Pizza mobile app so you can save 10% on every order using the promo code 10MEAL. That is number 10MEAL, and you get to earn towards promotions. Who doesn't like that, man? It's Buddies Pizza, BuddiesPizza.com.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo.
Ah.
You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
We like simple stuff like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Hey, we are back. It's Wake Up Woodward. I see some people in the chat. IT Hips, good morning. Kool-Aid. What up, though, man? Freddie Felt, I am always here. Lunchbox, no shout out for me. Come on, Kool-Aid. I am sorry. Shout out to Lunchbox, Kiyazi, man. I'm seeing a couple others in there. Jonathan Anton, Crazy Clown, David Cabell, and I'll continue to shout out people as we go throughout the show, man. But back talking Detroit Tigers. We got a couple good jungle cats here, man, between the Lions and the Tigers. Right now we're talking about the hottest one on the press, off the presses, the Detroit Tigers. And KG,
what
like
up?
Willie B, who's also in the building today, you also have vantage points, vantage ground on the scene at Comerica Park for a lot of good Tigers baseball.
Long time,
You
yeah.
also saw it change right in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing this Tigers renaissance back, man. It feels so flipping good.
No, it's amazing. And shout out to the boys yesterday. Definitely want to touch on that 5-1 victory. Cole Keefe was a fucking animal yesterday. Like, he could not be stopped. 2 doubles, home run, like everything you could have asked for out of him. We will get to a certain said someone a little bit shortly. Don't you worry, Sam. But, you know, shout out to the boys. And Kiter Montero, I got to admit, man, I came on the airwaves yesterday, and you know what? We're going to play a game. We're going to play a game called I Was Wrong. And hopefully Sam will join me in this very shortly. But I came on the airwaves yesterday, and I made the statement of, oh, what do you expect the Tigers to do? Try out Diedrich Enns or Kiter Montero? And I got to admit, I fell under the same type of, you know, thing that most fans have fallen under. And it's because Kiter Montero, while he can be very good at times, he can also be very mildly inconsistent. Now, yesterday was a very good outing for him. 6 innings pitched, 4 Ks. I mean, that's all you can really ask for in a start when you putting him out there. But just based on his history, and he's a career 4.3 ERA guy. So when you creep up into the 4 ERAs, it's like, yeah, he's good, but there's something there that's holding him back a little bit. And that's where I kind of have pause. That is why I wanted the Tigers to go out there and get maybe a low-end veteran starter at the trade deadline. But just considering what Sam said, what he pointed out, and I totally forgot about his playoff run last year. He did have a very good playoff run last year. That's a great point by you, Sam. And I can admit, I was maybe wrong in that. Maybe he can be the 5th starter, in a playoff situation, and you can send him out there and you don't really have to worry. I just don't want the Tigers to get in a situation again to where they're relying on the bullpen to make up that difference. So that's where my concern as a fan comes from. But if Kiter Montero can go out there and provide innings and outings like he did yesterday, then I have no problems at all. But I can admit I was wrong.
You know what, KG? You don't have to do that yet because there's nothing wrong with still even being skeptical about Kiter Montero as of right now. Your sin, which is absolute heresy, was putting him in the same sentence as Dietrich Ends. That was where
and you're right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's it. That's all. But I'm not asking everybody to all of a sudden have the utmost faith in Kiter Montero. I'm just giving you a pathway to where he could be successful this season, where he could actually play a role.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be Skubal, doesn't have to be Mize, doesn't have to be Olsen, but he will pitch in the playoffs.
Entire Ryan wondering why Dietrich Ends catching all of these strays.
Well, because
his fellow Chippewa.
I will always remember that game.
McKinstry's a dog.
I'll always remember that game, but I'll also always remember that next one.
Yeah. It was the very next game.
I'll always remember that game.
Then the next one.
The very next one.
I think James Wood hit another home run.
Right.
No, it's only one game. Dietrich Ends did his job.
That never happened.
He wasn't supposed to be out there anyway.
That's facts. That's facts.
That's a 151. 999 Super Chat. The Tigers, for the playoffs, could have a rotation of Skubal, Mize, Olsen, Flaherty, and Montero. That is a strong freaking lineup to deal with for any team in both the NL and the AL, no doubt. Is that the rotation for you guys? Like that lineup?
Yeah, I mean,
that's your 1 through 5.
And another thing you see consistently when you look at playoff rotations, even of World Series teams, is that you see 2 or 3 pitchers taking the bulk of the starts. Like, for example, let's just say, and I'm not saying that, I'm not guaranteeing this or anything, but the Tigers get to the ALDS and they sweep a team. Then you get a little bit of rest. You only have to use Skubal, Mize, hopefully Skubal, Mize, and Olsen in that playoff series. Hopefully the other NLDS goes 5, and then in game 1 of the ALCS, you can start Skubal again. Rotations shrink during playoff time. And
True.
And right now, I'm very confident in Skubal, Mize, and Olsen as long as Olsen stays healthy. Flaherty, he's been a little too much bad jack this season. But at the same time, if he gets hot, he can look like a Cy Young pitcher.
Streaky as hell.
But you look at last year's playoffs, for example, he had a couple of good outings, but he also had 3 really bad ones. And he actually started the deciding game of the World Series, and his team and Aaron Judge badly misplaying a ball in the outfield bailed him out.
Yeah, and with Flaherty in particular, remember, that's the Tiger that I've been the most questionable about all season. I have walked very, very, very like softly because he's the one that I do believe is your definite ceiling and floor raiser for the Tigers.
I agree.
If this guy is going, I do believe that you give yourselves the best opportunity in the playoffs as the Tigers to not have to overextend a guy like a Tarek Skubal. I like the fact that the Tigers have a lot that they can play with right now with their pitchers, and you have to have Jack Flaherty going. That's the only reason why we can even sit here and talk about what we believe about who Montero can be. Because if Flaherty's not going, then it doesn't really matter. The ceiling of Montero is not going to make up the difference that you're losing with Flaherty not being right. So, for me, I definitely want to see him be less of the concern, be a little bit more consistent. But I do believe when you're talking about in the playoffs, I want to start monitoring the teams that we believe the Tigers might be matched up against versus how well Flaherty might have performed against them. Because sometimes matchups are everything. Sometimes they are. And I do believe that when you're looking at the way the AL is shaping up, the Houston Astros are a formidable team, but they're not a team that scares me as it relates to the matchups for the Tigers against them. I still believe in what the arms would be. I still believe in the overall balance of hitting that the Detroit Tigers have. And it's not just this situation anymore where we're talking about this team not putting up runs necessary to support the pitchers. Instead, we're seeing 5.5 runs per game over the last 20, well over 4.5 runs a game on the year for this Tigers offense. And the bats they look consistent. And let me read this Randall Smalls one, or you got something to piggyback on that?
No, I'm just glad you brought up the matchups because that's the element that we don't talk about is the AJ Hinch element of this all. We know if Kyler Montero's out there, he's being put in the best situation possible, most times. So I do agree it is a matchup-based game, and the better the matchup, the better, outing you can possibly get out of a Kyler Montero. But no, I totally agree.
Yeah, and that's Randall Smalls. Thank you guys for the Super Chats. I'm telling you guys, the support you guys send us, it means the world, and it means the most to us. He says, Randall Smalls, I think this is a team of destiny. I get wanting to add, but who sits? This is a chemistry thing. The Rogers, Sweeneys, Malloy, and Joneses have all been clutch in big moments. And I understand that to a degree, but we've also seen across the other sports leagues, including with our own Tigers, how special of a run was it last season to end it?
Very
how special. Number one team in all of baseball for the last 40 games of the season. They're still the number one team in baseball, 40 plus whatever they've played this year. That's a whole lot of freaking games. But they still ran out of steam. They ran out of depth in the playoffs. That matters, and that's where it's like we're realizing with all of our teams taking this next step up that there just seems to be a whole lot more needed, or even a little bit more needed than what we love about our teams to be able to win the big one.
It is funny because Rando Smalls actually brings up a good point. Even though I will never forgive the Jake Rogers fanboys who spent more time victory lapping me than celebrating Tiger playoff wins. Who will
leave Ray Rogers alone?
Who will literally kneel at his feet and completely discount the fact that his batting average for his career is under 200. But to be fair, he did have some big playoff hits. But even when you mentioned Trey Sweeney, look at how important Trey Sweeney was last year when he got traded to the Tigers and then got brought up. He's not been very good this year, but even in that 10th inning game, that 10-inning game against Cleveland, he was the hero. Justin Henry Malloy was insanely good in the playoffs last year. He had a batting average of over 500. And then Jahmai Jones, we all know what he was in June. Guys just step up and play above themselves. But that doesn't mean that this is like a ragtag team either, because they also have got stars. They got Riley Green, they got Gleyber Torres, Javi starting the All-Star game. Spencer Torkelson has about an 830 OPS. It's a good mix of kind of little engines that could and budding stars.
But it's what gives the Tigers the opportunity to stave off a lot of the individual slumps or downs or not up to pars that we've seen. They're able to go out there and get contributions across this entire lineup, and then on days where they have to have the Riley Green games, which we saw a whole lot more of last year. They had to rely on those last year. This year, we've seen the Riley Green games. We've seen the Javi games. We've seen the Torque games. There's a whole lot more people adding their names to that list.
Cole Keith
in
yesterday.
addition to, that's what I was going to say, in addition to some of the role players. They might not be as consistent, but they're having their games as well, where they're able to go out there and they're able to be a part of putting up the 2 to 4 or 5 runs necessary to get home a win behind the dominant pitching that the Tigers have put on display here. And that's where this team, you talk about team of destiny, I don't think Randall Smalls is too far off, but that also doesn't make me that comfortable to the point that I'm willing for them to not do anything at the deadline.
Like I said, I don't like team of destiny, that a moniker, and hey, I'm actually agreeing with a stick on something, but me for very different reasons.
Flannel.
And this is a battle that I think I will continue to fight. And I'm not saying necessarily all of you guys or you guys in here. I still think that this team gets this rap that it's ragtag. And I don't agree, and I've never agreed. If you want to say that last year was a little bit ragtag at times, fine, but
you can admit that the roster isn't complete. That's the biggest
fine.
thing about this Tigers team.
That's fine.
Both internal improvement and what they did to bring in like a Gleyber Torres and a Canley.
And we all thought that they can be good, but 24 games over 500, nobody saw that
They got
coming.
16 wins at the All-Star break.
Yeah,
That's
nobody
insane.
saw this coming. Nobody.
That's insane. And you're right. It's right to call out the fact that it's not ragtag, because I believe it highlights exactly how good a job all of these people are doing. The development staff, the coaching staff, the GM, and the owner, to let them do whatever they're doing. Yes, obviously we wish he would just say, hey, here's your budget. Go out there and go ham. So if you feel like there's a player you need to cash out on and you might need to sweeten the deal, go out there and do that. Sometimes I do wish he would just CTC. I do, like Tom Gores. I feel like if Tom Gores was the owner right now,
man, what?
He's trying to compete with the LAs. Like, he would be out there like, what? But the fact that you can call out just how solid of a team this is. Hey, we found somebody who can operate within the limits that we know Chris Hillage is going to have on this team, and they're doing it at an elite level, man. That's where I'm starting to say a little bit of the team of destiny, but I believe you crown those after you see it. Like, I would have never called the 2004 Pistons in the moment. Yes, I brought it back to Pistons people.
Yeah, that's fine.
Team of destiny. But after you see how it all went down, you could definitely say they were a team of destiny. The Tigers have to punch their ticket. We've seen our Lions be the supposed team of destiny, and it fell just short. Now, all of a sudden, we should be taking these situations and continuing to apply fan pressure, fan-wise, to our teams to continue to do the most to get that ring. We deserve, especially Tigers fans. I want you to get that ring, Randall Smalls.
Hey, Randall Smalls, I'm iffy on whether I want him to celebrate a ring. But
chill on Randall, man. Chill on him.
No,
man.
Randall, you've been all right. But no, we can all celebrate together. But you know what? Let's come back and let's talk more of the bats and, of course, Javi Baez, because I'm sure I'm going to get.
We going to play I Was Wrong, and this time it's Sam's turn. So
all right. I know, because I obviously called Javi a bum yesterday.
I mean, you seem to want 516 back, so I'm just saying.
No, I've been waiting for this one. I can't wait. KG's, your glorious return back.
Yes, man.
And you get to talk about Javi Baez as an all-star.
Hey, hold on.
Bro.
Say the whole thing. AL All-Star starter Javi Baez. You got to say the whole thing. It's like a pit name
AL
slip back.
All-Star starter Javi Baez. I'm sorry. Let me put some respect in your name, Javi Baez.
Thank you.
Whoa. You know what? Who is saying what up, though?
Flannel's face.
And
It's
when
like, I'm fired up right now. I'm
Flannel
fired
remember,
up.
guys.
Flannel has
Flannel ready to hate. Look at it.
Flannel has no
And-
juice right now.
When the arms go up, you know Flannel ready to hate.
And when Javi Baez unfortunately has to pass away from this earth, he will ascend into heaven and replace Willie Mays as the heaven center fielder.
It's too early for deaths, Flannel. You can't be doing that.
Everybody dies eventually. I'm not talking about now.
I don't know that.
Hopefully when he lives to be at least 70 years old. That's a good
Everyone
life.
dies eventually.
Get right.
I love Flannel.
I missed the Flannel crash house, bro.
Man,
God
you
damn.
might as well call me Flannel Rule right now.
Shout out to our bro JV Smooth too, man. We miss you, brother. But let me tell you guys about White Claw Tigers Tour. Calling all Tigers fans. Join Spencer and Easy on the final stop of our tour Friday. That's this Friday, July 11th at Second Best Bar in Detroit. Be part of the fun and see our reactions live on Woodward Sports Network to one of the hottest teams in baseball. It's the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw and Vin Johnson Law.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Feldman Chevrolet is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer with 5 locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing. This month's specials include a 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew. You can lease that for $149 per month, or the 2026 Equinox LT. You can lease that for $209 per month. Make sure y'all get down to Feldman and get yourself in a new car today.
The segment we've been waiting for. And we got Pistons on the docket today, too.
Hey.
But when I saw this name on the show sheet, and I knew we even got KG in, this is the segment we in for, man.
Oh, yeah.
Javi Baez.
I'm
sorry, KG. AL
All-Star
starter.
Praise Javier.
Javi Baez,
You
man.
goddamn right. Exclamation point.
KG.
Face get me every time.
What up, dog, Flannel?
Sam ready to go. Go ahead, man.
No.
ISO.
Guys, I am ecstatic that he hit a home run last night and helped the Tigers win. I have never said that he hasn't been having a good year. Like, I'm different than Neil. Hey, thank you for that close-up. Remember at the beginning of the season when Javi would go like 2 for 4 and Neil would harp on the one bad swing?
Yeah.
I've never done that shit. I've never
haven't.
done that. He's been really, really good this year. My thing, though, is that I do think his cult of personality has gotten out of control, and I don't think he should be an all-star starter. Not saying he's a bum. Hey,
But you did say that he does not deserve to be an AL All-Star starter.
I stand by that.
I don't want to hear Byron Buxton's name ever again.
Ever again? His
Ever
stats
again.
still dwarf Javi's across the board, and he has no help.
I don't give a fuck. Javi is an AL All-Star starter, and he deserves to be there. This is one of the greatest single-player comebacks in at least Tiger history. I can say that. So
Facts.
Yeah, did you
Yeah,
see that
facts.
tag too at third base? Woo.
yeah, man, what? You
Yo,
better stop
Mongo?
playing with him.
Hey,
Shout
shout out
out
to
Zach.
Ken Street intern Ryan
Zach
wants to
Attack.
make sure all the people get the right love, and that includes Javi Baez too, man. This is an insane story, though. You got to admit, and for what the story means, for who he's been to the Tigers, for buying into the message and being a player of what some people would say. You could say that this guy came from a very, very high pedestal, but now you see a guy who's just doing anything the team asks him to, especially from a utility or versatility standpoint. Now, I know in Detroit Tigers lore, we've seen some of these other players honored with All-Stars appearances, honored to be at All-Star weekends, and we know these guys get put into the Hall of Fame even sometimes for just a stretch of games. People were ready, bro, to risk it all for Chris Shelton. People were ready. And that's one of your extreme cases, but then you look at other guys in there like your Donnie Kellys and your Brandon Inges and such. And so it's like, what'd you say?
Hey,
Bobby
stop.
Higginson, come
Stop.
on.
There we go again, making it seem like Bobby Higginson and Don Kelly are the same player. Willie, that's ignorant with all due respect. Come on. Because Don Kelly had 95 RBIs his entire fucking career, and nobody gives a shit. Bobby Higginson had 100 RBI fucking seasons, and nobody gives a shit because nobody cares about facts. They care about how they fucking feel. Donnie Kelly made you feel good. He made you feel like he was one of you.
Hey, Sam, what do we call that? Aura.
Oh, eat nice. What is your deal with Bobby Higginson? Did he did he sleep with your girl at the time or something? He probably did.
Donnie Kelly makes you feel good.
He had 100 RBI seasons. Don Kelly had 95 RBI his entire fucking career. Look it up. You won't. You won't because facts are mean.
Sam Red is fucking.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you see the effect I have on Sam. Like, god damn. Sam was like a bottle of Red Hot right now.
I'm saying that I do believe that Javi deserves with the way we treat players. He deserves all of the love. And for him to be able to transcend the national scope, I love this. Like, I get it. K didn't start the All-Star game, but 750,000, 760,000 votes. This man got 110,000 more than Hollywood Blake Griffin. Think about that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the most votes we've seen for a player going way back when. So
it's
now
a
that I'm
great
looking
story.
And now we're looking at our guys, getting a lot of different votes. We even almost had some upsets. I think that this is about the renaissance of not just Detroit sports as a whole, but when you focus in on the Tigers, I do believe that you have to, because what's the recipe? Where's the magic? This team might have 60 wins at the All-Star break, and you're looking at Javi. They ask him to do everything. He does it, and he's doing it at an all-star level.
And it's just like, as much as we kicked this man's back end when he was struggling, this is why I'm on the praise Javi train that I am now, because we went from talking about the worst player in everyday baseball, man, to an all-star starter. Like, not just a reserve, a starter, man. We got to give him the credit when it's due.
Bro, the Bobby
That's my
Higginson of
only
his
thing.
time.
Yeah. No, yeah, right. Don't let.
And honestly,
He did.
putting Don Kelly and Javi Baez in the same sentence is disrespectful. What Javi Baez has done this year is, like I said, I think that he should be in as a reserve over Julio Rodriguez. That's maybe where we can kumbaya.
But you just going strictly off numbers. If we're talking about just everything at a macro level, I think Javi does deserve that spot. Because like I said, he's been one of the most entertaining and maybe the best story in the MLB
Because how much
this year.
does lore
aside from the
matter,
Tigers just
though?
being
That-
dominant.
This is baseball, and that stuff has always mattered to the game.
No,
Man. Like,
absolutely.
even my grandfather telling me stories and taking me to Tiger Stadium, that type of stuff has just always mattered. The moments have mattered. The situations have mattered. The counts have mattered.
It's fan voted. So yes, these things do matter. I know on a grand scale it don't really mean shit, but these things matter when it's a fan vote. And if the fans want him there, who are we to say anything? Especially after the year he's having.
Well, because a lot of fans aren't smart. I'm not saying you guys. I'm saying a lot of fans aren't smart. A lot of fans, especially Justin's generation, are duped by shit like that.
So you're not one of the people. So you're not one of the people who, when it's Detroit people on the All-Star ballot, you don't just go straight ballot Detroit.
No,
come on.
That's disrespectful to the game. I've got integrity of being a baseball
Everybody
fan.
else is doing it. I've seen K get so disrespected by even media.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have my get back. It's my time to go out there and say Detroit, Detroit, Detroit. With our voice.
Javi Baez isn't a tenth of the Tiger that Cade is a Piston.
No, and factual. That's factual.
And he actually got voted in as a starter. It's crazy.
It's just at the same time, man, we got to just appreciate what is going on right now. And
crazy.
any other year, Flannel, I would give it to you. Like, if this is next year, you give it to the one that has the better numbers. But in terms of this year, following the slop that we got last year and the 3 years previous, I'm okay. Let the man have it. Like, he deserves it. He really does.
Just like people should have let Riley Green have it last year, but I got all kinds of pushback when I was giving him glazing over an All-Star.
That's fair.
We
That's
had an
fair.
866 OPS at the All-Star break. Javi Baez is currently 768.
I don't think anyone in this room killed the Riley Green takes last year. I think everyone in this room was here last year. Everyone in this room is a Riley Green
everybody
believer.
in this room.
Yeah,
There was some
I'm
people.
talking about in this room.
Yeah.
I can
know
only
the chat
hold all you guys
and some of
accountable.
the other ones, but Dante151, I see you with the $4.99 super chat. Kool-Aid. If Tom Gores owned the Tigers would have tried to get the best player in Shohei Ohtani, and the Tigers would probably be untouchable.
I don't know about Ohtani, but they probably would have got someone.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they're 24 games over 500. I'm not going to complain
like-
too much right now.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be a sport that he would have some success in. Randall Smalls, though, $2 super chat. He says, oh, goodness. Randall. Higgy's in a strip club right now making it rain.
He was also making it rain with 100 RBI seasons, more in one season than Donnie Kelly had in his entire career, because Don Kelly was a bum.
He made money from making it rain and then gave money making it rain.
And remember when our social media
That's an
team
ecosystem.
Remember when our social media team was having was just so Don Kelly got ejected as the manager of the Pirates. I remember. Do you remember those posts?
Yeah.
They happened. Oh, he keeps it real. How about control your emotions and don't get kicked out of games?
All right, Flannel.
Talk some sense into him.
Flannel, you can talk ish about Don Kelly all you want, but don't put that on the social team, okay? It's
I
not
disagree
our
with that
fault
decision,
The entire
dude.
fan base wants to see Don Kelly get thrown out of a game, okay? We just do what the people want, okay? And if the people want to see Don Kelly get thrown out of a game, we're gonna post it. The same reason why we post all these stupid mock trades that these writers create that are awful and that we get killed for in the comments. We do what the people want. That's the social team's job.
But I've never, and that's always been my disconnect. I've never felt like I've quite fit in with the average Detroit sports fan. I'm not saying that you guys are necessarily wrong. It's just a different way that we look at sports.
Well, it's because I think you got the opportunity to, like, a lot of us are born and bred where even when we deserve it, even if the stats stated, they're gonna just discount us. The stats stated, right? If we just said, all right, stats it is. A lot of people said that we were not supposed to beat the Lakers in 04.
Right.
That's what a lot of people would tell you based on the stats and the roster makeup. But the way we've seen our teams always get it, it's always been gritty. It's always been dirty. It's always defied what the stats said things were supposed to be. And so that's why I do believe that if you're born and bred in that, and that's the way you get your sports, I think that that's the way it is. I do think it changes a little bit when the perspective is solely on the numbers of the game. And
Yeah.
if that is, I respect people's outlook on that, because I think that that mantle deserves to have its place as well. But as it relates to Detroit, I've seen people attach themselves to something that they identify with, and I can get completely behind that.
And this is where nuance is important too, because it's not like he just got in and it's a fluke or anything like that. There is a legitimate conversation that could be had because he's been playing out of position practically all year long. He's played 3 different positions: shortstop, third base, and he's played a hell of an outfield as well. So I can understand you wanting to vote Javi in just based on the work that he's had to do this year. I would put that over numbers in certain situations. Now, if the numbers are just astronomically different, then I would probably go in the direction of Sam. But when you just look at what Javi has done at a macro level, playing 3 different positions, the comeback player of the year, without question, you got to give him his props, and that's all I want.
And the people out there, even Detroit and outside of, they're the ones that gave him the distinction of All-Star. And Byrne with a $5 super chat, he's predicting this for the All-Star game. KG and Flannel and everybody. When Javi holds up that World Series MVP and points to Neil and says, "This one is for my fans, but mostly my haters," and we build the Javi statue next to Hank.
Hey, shout out.
Hey, if
Shout
that
out to Byrne.
fine. If that happens, I'll admit I'm wrong.
He said something earlier. He said Javi hitting the home run in the All-Star game. I can believe that. That I could really believe.
And that will
snap,
trump
dog.
every home run that Riley Green hits in the regular season for Tiger fans.
Pretty much.
It will. It will. Trust me. I know my audience.
what
I know
happens-
all of you better than you know yourselves.
That's what happens when you have aura, man.
Shout out to Broder. He says, "I'm more of a Shane Holzer guy myself." Legend.
Man.
I'll see you in the chat, my brother.
Shout out, Broder. Shout out, Broder. And shout out once and for all. And we don't have to end the discussion. I just want to make sure that I'm clear about this. I haven't talked shit about Javi all season.
No, you haven't.
I've
I'll give you
been
that.
pretty consistent. Even remember there was a time when Javi's was slumping and he went through that slump after that, of course, a 2 home run, walk-off, extra inning miracle, amazing game against Boston, and his OPS got to where it was dangerously close to 6 something. I never said a word. And my thing was always, yeah, he's slumping a bit, but his numbers overall are still good and a lot better than what we expected, and the Tigers are winning. This is just where I draw the line. I don't think he should be an all-star starter, and I think it speaks to, and this happens all the time, I do think people get propped up too much. The cult of personality becomes this runaway train. As Neil Rule said, it's like a movement on a college campus. He was going to make the all-star team as a starter no matter what he did, even if he didn't break out of the slump.
That just speaks to the year he's had, though.
He's had a good year. He's had a really good year.
Baseball
That speaks to the year he's had.
it's ups and it's downs. It's where you're at with the median. Do you meet what's necessary to be considered an all-star? And I do believe that Javi Baez has done that. And I believe when you're talking about fans, we're told that we make a difference. Fans are told, spend your money, buy these jerseys, invest your time, bring your family and indoctrinate them too. Have this affect your health. Have this affect, literally your trips are going to be for your family or planned around these teams. So it's I do. When I look at it from that type of perspective, I do expect these fans to go ape crazy over the people that they're bringing in. I expect them to go and say, you know what? We're going to make sure that we can make a difference, whether it's cheering the loudest or whether it's going and caping for our guys or whether it's going to having even nuanceical arguments, because sometimes a stat don't really back up Cade, right? People will go and say, look at his turnovers per game. But then when you go and you dig even more, you can see, well, there's nuance to this thing that actually shows that his turnovers are less impactful or from a negative standpoint than some of the other people who are having these turnovers. You can see that Cade's turnovers might not be leading to the other team scoring points. You can look at the fact that his turnovers with the increased usage rate and the turnover percentage goes down. Those are things where I'm just when you dig through the stats of it all and you look at more of the nuance in the situation, you look at what the burden these people are carrying as players here, as athletes, that's where I do believe it changes to be more of what we see with Javi Baez and less of did somebody statistically deserve to be there. I do believe that part of the narrative in winning in sports, to prop up is winning.
Yeah.
But to me, just to go back to what KG said earlier, I do think Byron Buxton's numbers are astronomically different. When you look at the slugging percentage, the OPS, the home runs, the RBIs, and when you talk about the Minnesota Twins, let's just be honest, he's all they got.
Yeah.
He's really all they got. I'm not going to penalize Byron Buxton for not being a winner because he plays on that trash Twins team. Look what Javi Baez has had around him. And I'm not saying he's a big part. He has a guy who's better than him in Riley Green. He has Spencer Torkelson. He's had Kerry Carpenter, say what you want. He has a 780 OPS. He has a guy in Gleyber Torres who's turned out to be one of the better and certainly the most underrated offseason acquisition. Tarek Skubal, Casey Mize has leveled up. Will Vest, Tommy Canley.
That sword cut both ways, though, because if the Tigers were 43 and 48 like the Twins, I don't think Javi would be all-star.
No, he wouldn't be because Byron Buxton's numbers are so much better that I think he deserves consideration as a loser than Javi Baez would have as a loser.
I understand, but that's the game.
Buxton is a bum on a team not even over 500.
Oh, but his team is bums, guys.
But we know how this goes, though. We've heard this about our players across a spectrum of sports. This is how this goes.
It's the game.
It just is the game. And the teams that win, sometimes they get somebody in who might not deserve it necessarily based on just purely the stats. But then that's the thing. Like, how are we measuring the sacrifices that people are putting in? We can't on one arm talk about, when the big three came together, they made sacrifices to their games. So their stats aren't going to look necessarily the way that it should, but you understand that their impact is towards winning a championship. So they're sacrificing the statistical output for a chance to actually do something that everybody in the sport should be going after. I think that that's the more important than just stats. You'd say that there's disrespect if you put in a difference maker, even if their stats aren't better than somebody else's. I believe that it's about the person who is contributing towards winning. It's like, now that I'm on the side of it and our teams are winning, it's very easy to sit here now and say this because we've seen our guys go out there and have the stats and get passed over time after time after time after time after time.
Yeah.
So it's like right now, no, we're in a position where we can understand and look and see who's actually out there making a sacrifice towards winning. And right now we can say it's Javi Baez. We cannot unequivocally say that about Buxton.
Yeah, because Buxton's it's because he's not a team player. He doesn't motivate Carlos Correa and Ty France from the bench. He doesn't motivate Royce Lewis to not get fucking hurt for the 9th time in a row.
Maybe he should.
If he had Javi's aura, maybe it would have bled
Jesus
over to the
Christ,
rest of the team.
man. It's just narrative pie in the sky shit.
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
about narrative pie in the sky.
He's
It's
talking
been
about
media.
the
When has it
comeback
never
player
been
of
this,
the
though,
year.
Flannel?
I don't care. Dude, that's where we're different.
Doesn't matter,
So
though.
we're different.
Doesn't matter because so you're telling me that you knew the 04 Pistons were going to beat the LA Lakers.
No, I didn't.
I had a lot of faith that they would.
I mean,
I saw a lot
I
of the
didn't think it was
sacrifices that
over.
this
Yeah.
team made. I saw a lot of sacrifices this team made that they were going to go in there and have a more than a puncher's chance. I understood the sacrifices this team makes to be a better defensive team. We understood the sacrifices that this team made. Ben Wallace, he didn't care about getting his offense. Yeah. We've had centers
because
after
he
that.
couldn't. He couldn't. He wasn't capable.
How many centers? Do you understand how much it takes, though? How many centers have we seen after that, though, who wanted theirs, even though they didn't have it? And they wouldn't do everything else that Ben Wallace would. So I'm glad that Ben Wallace could come in and say, you know what? No ego in the sport where everybody has a freaking ego. And I'm going to do everything that no one else will. That, to me, matters. And how do you measure that? I don't know. If the stats aren't all the way that we always say there's stuff that the box score doesn't measure. That's the part of it that I think you're missing. That's the component of it. And what have we seen it lead to in Detroit sports history? A lot of championships. So it's something, whether you can see it or not. It is something, and that's what I'm talking about. That's the reason why Ben Wallace doesn't meet your metric for Hall of Fame, but it met the metric for what's better than that, a championship with your team and being one of the most impactful players to the point that you still got Shaq and these fools crying. Pete, you still got Indiana saying they took a championship from us. They're doing whole documentaries to say this. But Ben Wallace don't deserve what he deserves. Think about that impact.
I'm the one person in the city that says that.
This, bro. Like, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking with your metric.
It's just
your
me.
Spectrum.
Pull the city. 99.99999% Hall of Fame. 0.00001. No.
But it's because they can see the impact beyond just the stats, Flannel. They can see the sacrifice. They can see the impact.
But
that's the whole point.
But Ben Wallace did impact the stat sheet with rebounds, with defensive win shares, with
and
defensive
you're saying
rating.
Javi's not impacting the stat sheet?
He is not to the level of an all-star starter, though. Yes! He has the worst OPS of any all-star starter in the American League. Look it up!
Good job.
Every single one of them starts with an 8 or a 9 or a 1. Point something.
I knew I was gonna hear some yelling today, but god damn, Flannel was over today.
Oh man.
Hey, I'm
You
seeing
got
someone-
Kool-Aid upset. Come on now. You see what you did, man?
Now Ben Wallace is disrespected in the city? No!
I was talking about as it relates to you, your outlook,
Yes.
your perspective. That's what I meant to say. Your perspective as it relates to how the reason why you disrespect Ben Wallace as it relates to what the city believes. The people, they believe you're disrespecting. Why? Because there are certain components of it that stats don't allow you to see beyond. And that's what I'm stating. And I get it. Javi Baez is not having the impact that Ben Wallace is having. But the reason why there is this absolute kind of disconnect, I believe, between you, some of our audience, and the position that we place role players is because of that. Sometimes a person's a role player because they choose to do something greater for the good. What was Rasheed Wallace before he got here?
Role player.
Bona fide all-star, a bona fide star. And when he got here, all of his numbers took a hit. I'm not going to ever sit here, and even if somebody else has the usage to have better stats, I'm not sitting here saying that player is better than Rasheed Wallace, even if Rasheed's only putting up 15 and 10 and other players putting up 20 and 10. I'm not sitting here saying those stats now dictate that he's a better player than Rasheed. No, we know what Rasheed Wallace was doing. He came here and he allowed his buy-in to this team overall to affect what he could or couldn't do stat-wise. So we all knew these things were going to take hits, and that's what I'm saying. I do believe that in a situation like this with a Javi Baez, people are looking at what he's doing, the buy-in, doing everything that people are asking him to do, and this team is winning at an elite level. We're not just talking about winning or leading a weak division. We're talking about they're beating the brakes off of good teams. And so now that changes the way that people are going to look. They have to say, then, what's responsible for this? Because it can't just be just two all-stars.
Yeah.
It can't just be that.
And once again, we are just talking about the worst player in everyday baseball that was universally said last year to all-star starter this year. It's just the leap. It's the story, and like I said, it's fan voted, so I can understand it. Narratives drive the All-Star game. We all know that. So you may not agree with it, but that is the game, Sam. You may not agree with it. You're not wrong. Nobody up here said you was wrong by any stretch. But
I just realized I've got a superpower. I make everybody think that stats don't matter, and I'm going to make everybody root for the day, root for Riley Green to fail. I've created Riley Green haters just by loving him so much. I have.
Randall Smalls with the $5 super chat says, at Sam, has Javi contributed more, less, or the same as Riley Green?
Less!
To me, it's about equal.
Less! Look at the numbers, bro!
Y'all gonna kill Flannel today.
Riley Green is third in the American League in home runs, third in the American League in RBIs, fifth in the American League in OPS. Jesus Christ, Rando! That's that pie in the sky bullshit. Everybody contributes to a winning team, even Johnny off the bench. I'm not saying that's what Javi is, but man, we don't like stars in this town.
Somebody called it.
Obviously, we don't like stars in this town.
Listen,
no, we don't.
Why do we do like our stars? But why? That's the thing. How disrespected, and I always bring back the Pistons, how disrespected did we see our boy Tayshaun Prince get? Even though we knew
He's
his
not
impact.
a star.
We knew. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. What would he have been if his usage could have been something greater? But because of sacrifice he chooses to make for the team, now all of a sudden he's not a star. That's what I'm talking about. So what do we do as Detroiters who understand the impact of a player that if he's not there, we don't win the championship? We're going to cape for ours in ways that the stats won't necessarily. Why? Because we see the sacrifice. We understand the intrinsic. We understand the value that you bring to the situation. I understand the value that you bring here, even if somebody else don't see it.
Yeah, but
stats be darned.
Yeah.
Gosh, almost said the wrong word. Just being for real with you.
We got to go to break. Kool-Aid almost cussed.
$10 super chat from Dante151. If the Minnesota Twins miss the playoffs again, do they pull the trigger and fire their manager and GM? Because if they keep on struggling right now and not make moves to be better than that, it's the end.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, sure. The Twins are garbage.
I was told they would be the best in the damn division.
And I am told that it's Byron Buxton's fault. Man, if he could just be more about a winner, man.
Maybe
he could just motivate his teammates.
Hey.
If he could just personally wrap Royce Lewis and bubble wrap himself.
If he played as hard as your heart rate is going right now, this would be a totally different discussion.
These super chats are flying in. I want to
Green
get him and then
plateaued.
hit the break, and then we start the next segment. But
No, Shad. Green plateaued.
Shad.
Javi hasn't hit his peak yet. Actually, it's the opposite. Javi's been in the league a lot longer.
He been peaked a long time ago.
I was going to say,
dog.
Javi peaked in 2018.
But he's having a second peak right now.
Of course he
He's going
is.
for a
I'm not
second peak.
denying that. People act like I'm denying that. This whole conversation is going to be, Flannel thinks Javi Baez is terrible and should be cut.
And you know who hasn't peaked yet? Gold Crown Concentrates.
Shout out to that dude,
because
Justin.
My
I've
boy
been
Flannel
trying
need
to
that.
get this
Let
show
me go
on the
to
rails for the last 20 minutes. But at Gold Crown Concentrate, the concentrates are their bread and butter. Crafting elite collab extracts since the caregiver days, Gold Crown partners with craft growers across Michigan to bring you exclusive full-spectrum concentrates, infused pre-rolls, and live resin gummies. Their new line, Crown Jewels, is here. Gelatin-free, effect-based, coated with nerds to give it that extra pop. Find Gold Crown in over 300 dispensaries statewide. Smoke like royalty, all rise to the reign of royal heights. Only with Gold Crown Cannabis.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo.
Ah.
You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength and style for an unmatched driving experience. Sold exclusively at Feldman Ineos of Waterford.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Attention sports fans, that's all of you beautiful people out there. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that D-Mac does, because Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
And of course, my favorite read, KG here to tell y'all about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they have partnered with us here at Woodward Sports. And you know what that means. I'm going to be high all summer long. High Low is getting you high for the low, delivering top-tier quality and unbeatable prices Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
Is a live resin-infused tarantula. This one's the bomb. Blizzard packs THCA moon rocks. They hit like a blizzard. Stay tuned to Woodward Sports for all the latest updates.
Hey, follow us on all social media platforms, guys. You want to stay connected with Woodward Sports? Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok for the latest sports news, live updates, and behind-the-scenes action. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button now and be part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network at Woodward Sports everywhere.
We've called the EMT. We got him on standby in case Flannel pass out again.
Nah, man, it's been an epic first hour. Shout out to you guys for being here and for supporting us, chat family. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. And shout out to our guy, JB Smooth, Woodward Sports MVP. We miss you, brother. Can't wait to have you back. It's good to have KG in the building.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Detroit's #1 draft pick. I haven't done this in a while.
Yep.
Rookie of the year.
Keep going.
Woodward Sports MVP.
Keep going.
Comeback player of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Now it makes sense.
See?
Now it makes sense.
This is why I resonate with Javi Baez, because I'm in the comeback player of the year race, too. So this is why I resonate with Javi.
Shout out, man. We got intern Ryan, intern Haley, intern Noah. That dude Justin hold it down on the ones and twos in the TD booth. We got Willie in the building. You guys already know. Flannel Sam and Kool-Aid up here on the desk. And
man, Shad with another super chat. We gotta read it.
we gotta read it.
I got it. I'm very calm. Why is it that when Green is an all-star, the Tigers are barely in the playoffs? When Javi is an all-star, they're the best team in the MLB. Hey, Shad. You know one of the reasons why they were barely in the playoffs last year? Because your boyfriend, your prophet, was the worst player in baseball. And a lot of other people's favorite player, my sweet, sweet Torquay, was in the minors. And Parker Meadows, who this fucking social team put out a graphic of him being a better center fielder than PCA at the time, was in the fucking minors. Riley Green should get more propped up in this town than he is, because he's been doing it for the second consecutive year, while a lot of your favorite players were shitting on themselves for portions of last year.
My boy said
Not for all of last year, but portions of last year. So Javi Baez, it was all of the last 3 years. So Shad, pipe down. I'm better at this than you. You cannot beat me when it comes to numbers and stuff like that. You can't. You lose.
Flannel, will you
have an
please
IQ of 40.
Stop shitting on the social team, man. Like, I'm just trying to get the views. I don't, like,
I'm just trying to get to the bag.
there are no
Yeah, we got his job to
policies or
do.
anything. We only care about the views and the money the posts make, okay? Not that deep always. When the people want to see that Parker Meadows is better than PCA, we give them Parker Meadows is better than PCA.
Is he better than PCA?
No.
Is he even in the same universe
No.
as PCA? Thank you.
But
you know what?
that's coming from Justin, the sports analyst, not Justin, who runs the Woodward social media. Like,
Yeah.
they're two different people.
And if I have to hear about Detroit tax working negatively against us, then I don't really care if Detroit fans want to
to
say
tell
somebody better than somebody else.
trying to
Talk
tell
your
you.
talk. That's what we've always done. That's what people, your fashion's not better than ours. I don't care. Do you see where I'm from? I don't care. So if I say someone's better, someone's like, K, best point guard in the NBA. I don't care. I don't care. Somebody wants to argue, you can argue it all day long. But that's what I love about these fans. We've always known that we had to do more because we saw what the nitty-gritty was. That's why they build their team off grit. That's why we've always heard about determination, overcoming. That's why they've built their teams this way. That's why all the championships can be relatable to that. That's why they've went and done that marketing scheme. Every one of these teams that's been good. When the Pistons, they finally make the playoffs, and what did they put on the shirts? Back to what? Work.
Yep.
That's just the identity, and I 100% get that. So it's just like, look, if nobody else is going to see it, fine. It's hurt us when we've needed it. Like, Cade has gotten hurt by the Detroit tax. So it's like, when it works for him, I'm going for it. When it works for Javi, you know what? Finally, the Detroit tax is working for us because we haven't seen it work like this before. Cade made it on his rookie contract, man. All NBA and All-Star. Javi has had a complete renaissance. I'm grateful for that. I'm looking at even the Lions. You want to look at the top 25, under 25. Mm-hmm. You want to look at the percentage of all pros and pro bowlers. I'm looking at our guys taking over these things, and I'm here for it. Any way we can put our foot in our door. I'm sorry. Anyway, we could put our now and later Gators in the door.
Nice.
And kick that mug down with our trench and our buffs. I'm doing that. Oh, man, what fashion is that? What style is this? What words are those? They're ours. I don't care if you're at my table. I'll be there, Ian. I'm sure the rest of Detroit will be.
I just want to have fun, man.
Muscle and quiz.
Flato don't want us to have fun. I'm just trying to have some fun, man.
That's fine. That's fine. We can agree to disagree in a
Harvey
lot of ways.
Wallbanger says aura greater than sign stats.
Well, that's just not true.
Yeah.
But there's actually living, breathing people who think that.
Would you say aura plus stats greater than stats?
Nope, because aura's not real.
War's not real, but he'll argue for an hour over it, but it's not real.
No, because you guys use it as an insult. Oh, Riley doesn't have aura, but that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. I hear that all the time.
So if two players have the same stats, who's getting into the All-Star game? The one who has perceived aura or the one who doesn't?
You all know who it is. That's why people
it's a real
at this network will still say right now that Ellie De La Cruz, super duper uber boober star. Riley Green, he's not even a star yet. Riley Green's got better numbers across the board except for everybody's favorite stat, stolen bases. But nobody cares because Ellie De La Cruz looks cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's a good player. He's a damn good player, but
I couldn't even say that.
I pay tickets to watch Ellie De La Cruz. I'm just saying, like.
Yeah. Okay, then you're not
Oh,
going to a Tiger
yeah.
game anymore unless they're for free because you won't pay tickets to see Riley Green. Oh, the
If I had to pick in that bat, no, I'm talking shit.
the mass just psychosis when Ellie De La Cruz came to Comerica Park. Oh my god!
Shout out to Broder. Aura is real.
There wasn't that. There
See,
wasn't
the
that
Broder
when
knows.
when
That's pretty much
Riley
it.
Green went to Tampa and had just as good of a series. Was there? A lot of our fans are trash, with all due respect.
Oh,
Come
fans
on.
just want to
I love our
have fun.
fans.
Oh,
Look at his
fans
villain
just
smile,
wanna
dog.
have-
Oh, snap, man. He looked like he about to go and take out Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Shout out to Shams, though, man. Shams Sarania. He just wanted to go and crush our dreams,
I
right?
know, man. I
we
saw
were on the
it.
show yesterday. We were all on some good vibes. We're like, KG's back. We just started talking. It wasn't even on the soul sheet. Just felt like riding a bike again, man. And a player that we all kumbaya on, like, which is so different than today. But a player we all kumbaya on was John Collins. We were all like, you know what? Sure. And would you know it? Show ends. Justin is going to clip up the fire segment. He's about halfway through it. And they're like, John Collins is traded, man.
Sean,
So
wow.
breaking news, this was from yesterday. The Clippers, Jazz, and Heat, they agreed to a trade that sent Norman Powell to Miami. John Collins to the Clippers, who I think they're having a sneaky offseason. Sneaky good. And Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second-round pick to the Jazz. Miami is acquiring a major scoring punch in Powell while the Clippers find a dynamic lob threat. Both Powell and Collins are coming off strong seasons. Utah has turned Collins' expiring deal into an asset in the form of a second-rounder in return. That's
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
What up, though, Willie B?
You traded, you got. Power forward, one stretch big. That's it. What the Pistons are waiting for? I don't understand. What strategic y'all gonna make out of it? I understand y'all want to keep the same core for this year coming, but you need a piece to the puzzle. The Pistons need help in the interior that could stretch the perimeter out in the big.
Especially the NCNT. Norm to Miami is interesting. We're looking at teams that are in that dysfunction list, and we're trying to figure out who's going to move up. There are some teams that are going out there and they're making some moves to try and help stabilize what they can be in this upcoming season in the Eastern Conference.
How can they be all dysfunction? They're Heat culture, the greatest organization that's ever existed in mankind.
Knew that was
haven't won a
coming.
championship since LeBron was Finals MVP, but Heat culture.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. In 2023, it was actually Himmy Butler who carried the team.
Yeah.
Heat
was
culture
good.
died in 2006.
Yeah.
When they went with the big three Heat, there was no more Heat culture.
But Udonis Haslam was still there, so as long as he's there, Heat culture is still
Man,
He
why are all the things that are like near and dear to my heart coming up today?
I know, right?
I gotta stop.
It's crazy.
But
All
no,
your
I
pet
mean,
peeves.
you're looking at this thing, and you know what, Willie B, I do believe that a lot of people out there feel the way you do because we see it. We see it in the comments. We see it across social media. Everybody is wondering, what are the Pistons going to do, especially when all offseason you've heard their names rumored. We started the offseason believing we were going to bring in one or two players and then still be able to go and bring back our vets, 2 or 3 of them if we wanted to. They had all the ability to make that happen. Now we're sitting here with the seconds and the thirds of that plan. We're not even sitting here at the first and then the second. We're sitting realistically at third and fourth, because while we're waiting around, Tim Hardaway dipped. Dennis Schroeder went and found a deal. The Kings decided, since the Pistons are waiting on this deal, we're just going to go and sign Schroeder straight up. Then all of a sudden, they made the Pistons come back to the table. It's a lot going on right now. So I do appreciate the way that they are moving as it relates to patience, because I have to be consistent here. From the beginning of this thing, based off the little stuff that I was hearing, I heard that their plan was between next trade deadline and next offseason, when they're able to further assess. Do I believe, though, if you believe in this young core right now, that there were some moves to move this Pistons team forward? Yeah, I definitely do. But, is John Collins, I mean, even with an expiring deal, you're talking about being able to come off of his deal and Tobias's deal in the same year. Yeah. I don't know. I would have definitely kicked the tires on it. We talked about it yesterday, but I do understand what they're trying to do right now.
Do you think there's an element of maybe they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with Ivy and Durham before they make any bigger moves? And
Sasser's up for a contract next year too. So you got 3 of your young players, and you're gonna have Tobias Harris, who's now off your books. That's a core of that's a chunk of your team, and you have to make decisions on these guys. You have to ask yourself. I saw somebody earlier in the chat. I am sorry if I forgot who it was. He asked, "You giving Durham $35 million a year?" Because we don't know where it's going to be next year. We don't know how the market moves by next offseason. True. This is part of the reason why I'm like, do you give him something early now? Do you try and sneak him into that 5 for 122 that Jabari Smith got? Do you try and give him just a little bit less than that?
Yeah, this second apron is really like messing up the market right now. Like, it's crazy. I don't even think people really get the ramifications of what's going on. But I mean, I can't be totally upset just based on, okay, the Pistons had a plan. They had to deviate from that plan because unexpected things came up.
Pivot again.
But you still were able to come away with, you didn't lose much to me. Now, if you want to say Malik Beasley was a big loss, sure. 300 threes, that's hard to replace. But once again, you got kind of a cancel out with him and Duncan Robinson being the same exact archetype of player. And then when you trade out Karis LeVert on the bench for Simone Fontecchio, I think we are good. Yes, they could have made more moves, but once again, I don't think the Pistons' time to elevate themselves is here just yet. Should we be getting from round 1 to round 2? Totally agree. But anything past that, I still don't think they're quite ready for that level of basketball.
But they do, though, this. As it relates to the vets that aren't here, they do need to replace some combination of what Schroeder and Tim Hardaway Jr. were giving you. Right. And that's where the question of this young core, are they ready to step into this? Naturally, some people believe that Jaden Ivey, if he's going to play, that he would step into some parts of those roles.
And we don't know. He's an unknown.
Facilitation and such. But they're going to, but as currently constructed, they're going to have to depend on him.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where I sense where some people are like, hey, we had the opportunity. We knew that there were some deals, and a second rounder for an expiring contract, that doesn't hamper things for the future. When you look at what John Collins could be for this team, I thought that it would have provided some elements that they don't quite have right now in the front court, and it gives Cade Cunningham and our ball handlers and facilitators that much more to work with in the pick and pop game. Yeah. In the pick and roll game even, because you're talking about short corner stuff. John Collins is the type of player who can pick and roll and not go all the way to the basket, but can stop short corner and give you a little push floater. We have a big on the roster who can really do that consistently. Yeah. I don't know if we have a big on the roster that can do that. Those are alarming when you're playing with a facilitator like Cade Cunningham. So then what did we find out seeing? What did we wind up seeing a lot of? We wind up seeing guys like Osar Thompson and Tim Hardaway being role guys, cut guys for Cade Cunningham. Yeah. When in reality, in the playoffs, when they are swallowing the whistle just a little bit more and the physical contact is allowed to go, you're going to want to have somebody from a physical standpoint that can score effectively at all 3 levels and have that size advantage to some degree, because it looked like we were really lacking on size against the Knicks, especially as that series went through.
Well, and I think the appealing thing about the Dennis Schroeder trade is the traded player exception. I hate the NBA salary cap so much.
Yeah. So much. Let's talk about that. Let's talk, we talking about what's the way forward now, because obviously we can't continue to cry about spilled milk with Collins, but that's a good point for us to be able to move forward and talk about Schroeder, the deal, how it actually came away. So the Pistons aren't going away empty-handed. Right. Took a little bit more than just Schroeder on the table. They did have to put out a 2029 second-round pick, but they did get in return $14.1 million trade exception.
That's big, though.
And a 2026 second-round pick.
Yeah.
So their current value, like their value within this window, it's a little bit better than what it was before the trade.
But that trade exception, $14 million, that could be huge in terms of facilitating a deal for a
we're gonna talk
star.
about it. We're gonna talk. Hold that. We definitely about to get into that one, man.
Oh yeah.
Who are friends? We gotta say what up though too.
One of our favorites, KG. Why don't you tell him about jars?
Why don't I tell them about jars, man? I don't have the read, but I can tell you about jars.
The read's over here, so just take it.
Well, it's some of the best weed that you can have on the market, man. Go out to one of their many locations. I believe they have 30 in Metro
27
Detroit.
locations, 9 locations in Metro Detroit.
Look at
and
this guy.
Make sure you check out their deli style.
Yeah, he gets
Cool.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Second Best Bar in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, Easttown, and Van Johnson. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Hummer EV. Oh, it's the Sut one again. SUV lease special at $599 per month plus tax, or try out the 2025 Hummer EV SUV lease special at $699 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation lease special for only $169 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC. For all lease specials, go to lesstanford.com.
Shout out to L in the chat. Says, nah, the worst and cringiest ad is you got a hot girl.
Got a hot girl. David told me.
Y'all know it.
David
Every time that ad plays, I repeat it in my head. Just that moment. Even if I'm not locked in. As soon as it gets that part, my brain, everything's just like,
he got hot girl.
Shout out to Willie. Even Willie B.
Nah, if only they knew the story behind it, it'd be even better, man. It's crazy. My fans was upset.
Oh, snap, man. Hey, welcome back to Wake Up Woodward Chat family. Go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. I don't even care. Pick a song. KG, just pick any song from the ones and twos.
I got you,
Mr. DJ, and let's satisfy that like button.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I know I don't know if we have when JB gets back, we'll definitely do it more appropriate. But
of course. But you know I got you.
Oh, let's do this. It's been a long time.
Oh, Justin got it. Justin got me.
We're gonna let you satisfy. Hey, listen, while you've been gone, Willie has gone crash out style on it, man.
Yeah.
T-Foss has made it wet.
Yeah.
We've had some people try that.
False baited wood.
That dude, Justin, he brought the festival vibes to it.
It was quite.
Oh, of course.
Now, we about to have KG back
original.
in the
up here
rightful
fist
spot.
bumping on that shit.
Hey!
You know we back, man.
Let's
and
go.
And the soothing, smooth
Solo
stylings
camera
of
man.
your boy KG is back on the mic. So just go. Wait. DJ, DJ, what we doing?
KG was giving it to the
You
moon.
can't bump the table, dog. I'm mid thing right now. Like,
Hey,
there we go.
Shout out
there
to
we
that
go.
dude, Justin.
Hey, I'm just here to provide the smooth and soulful sounds of Wake Up Woodward. So just go ahead and hit that like button for us. You know what? If you got a little bit up to like it, I understand, man. Just go ahead and get your shit off.
Money. Huh? What?
I don't know what just happened, but
Smack that like button like
God.
I owe you money. Hey, we are back. Shout out to KG, man. Hey, we haven't done that in a while. Satisfy that like button, people. Thank you guys for being here. And by the end of this, you know, at some point in time, we're going to have to get like some type of quartet going.
yeah.
Like JB, you, Flannel, and myself.
I just want to
We're
do
gonna have all
ad-libs.
satisfy the like button.
I just want to do ad libs. Y'all can sing, y'all can do all the singing. I just want to do ad libs.
Dog, man. Hey, shout out to the Woo crew. Shout
Hey,
out to the people in the chat. too.
Weezy,
But
chill out, man.
you see, I'm looking in here, dog.
Rico retwist, man. Chill out, dog. You gonna pay for the new one, motherfucker? Nah, go ahead. My bad. I ain't mean to hijack.
No, you good.
I'll get the fuck.
We got look at Willie B, dog. Let me get to this trade. The Dennis Shooter trade has finally happened. It finally happened. And the Pistons have received a 2026 first-round draft pick. And what gets everybody in their ears perked up is that $14.1 million trade exception that the Pistons can utilize, as you guys heard KG before the break say, to facilitate a larger deal. A lot of people now are turning to the next place that the Pistons can potentially make something big happen. That's the trade deadline, which you guys have heard me like a broken record say. I do believe that if they do something, it's going to be between trade deadline and next offseason. It's the way that the books are shaping up. It's the way that I've seen this organization do things. They take their time, they assess, and then they assess again. Then they try and play up the value of their assets. Why? Because if you're going to make a trade, you're going to want to make sure that you're not the one getting hosed on value for any of your young capital that you drafted prior. So I do appreciate them having a plan. I do appreciate them being able to stick to that. And I appreciate them being able to, because you mentioned that second apron, this cap in the first and the second. I appreciate them understanding how to navigate this. Mike Blackstone and that team underneath Trajan Langdon, they understand what they're doing. So I do sense that they know long-term what they have planned out. They understand the free agents that are to come, the draft picks that are to come. So it's interesting that they went and they snagged another draft pick for next season, for this coming draft, this next offseason. So I do believe that they're putting their eggs in the basket of being able to take a marginal step forward, get to a second round, which I do believe they have barely enough, I believe, to do that. I'm looking at what some of these other teams are doing, but I do believe they have enough to do that if they get the internal growth and then set themselves up at the trade deadline to be able to shore up whatever needs they have, especially knowing that not only a trade exception, right? Yeah. Check this out. When you combine that with one Tobias Harris, who is an expiring contract, that's what, almost $40 million?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You can take back a pretty big fish if you wanted to, or a couple nice fish if you wanted to.
No, you definitely can. And I'm not going to lie. The NBA salary cap makes my head spin forwards, backwards, upwards. It's about to like pop off at this point. So I did a little digging. And Kyle Metz, we've used his stuff before.
Kyle.
Shout out to Kyle, friend of the network. Talked about the traded player exception. He suspected it would be about $14.3 million. It actually was $14.1. And he actually listed some players who the Pistons could potentially go after. Either it's now, trade deadline, probably looking more at now. Listed P.J. Washington, who we talked about last week, Obi Toppin, and these are just players who fit under the exception, not necessarily who we'd want. Corey Kispert, Herb Jones, Austin Reeves, Grant Williams, Kobe White, and Jared Vanderbilt.
Not bad. Not bad options.
It's not bad all options. But I'm hoping that they just maintain their flexibility at this point.
Yeah.
It just seems like that's their best option. You don't know internally what they're going to have growth-wise, and I do believe that they're going to have these players take a next step forward. I know we're waiting to see what Jalen Duren and Asar and these guys do, but I believe we're going to get another step out of Cade Cunningham in this next season too.
Yeah.
There is a ceiling to
have
be
to.
raised for the Pistons. You have to.
Yeah.
And there is a ceiling to be raised for them just as currently constructed. If they didn't get those shooters, then you're a little bit concerned. But the fact that they do have some shooters who actually facilitate better than the outgoing players, than a couple of the outgoing players.
Ego average.
This is where I'm kind of bullish on what they can be in terms of keeping your flexibility for that trade deadline. But there are a couple players, and I don't know, man. Like, there's a player like Austin Reeves. Does that move the needle for anybody? Like,
Austin Reeves don't want to come here.
Just doesn't-
Well, he doesn't want to come here.
Yeah.
But run down that list again real quick.
So it's PJ Washington. I have it
one
in
moves
slide.
the
I
needle.
like
That
PJ. I
one
like
moves the
PJ.
needle.
Yeah.
I like PJ.
Okay, PJ Washington. I'll go. So Karis LeVert, which
Yeah.
that would be, you could use that on Karis LeVert, and then you would like a non-taxpayer mid-level exception would be created. I think
something like that. Yeah.
Obi Toppin.
I'm okay with it. You're talking about NBA ready guy who has played in some big moments. I would be
He
okay.
can't stretch the floor though. Like he's limited.
He just barely makes the threshold for me.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. He would not be the first player. PJ Washington is the most interesting and intriguing
Absolutely.
name. I've been on record of saying I would like him here for a few years.
Yeah.
I like
Absolutely.
PJ Washington.
I do.
I was about to say, I actually would probably want Toppin the most out of what I mentioned
Really?
so far. Yeah.
Really? What intrigues you about Toppin?
Well, he's better at shooting the three than you think. He's athletic, he can defend, he can
Facts.
rebound, and he showed up in the playoffs.
He did.
He had several good finals games, other good playoff games. He had 3 games in the finals that, by the standards you'd hold for Obi Toppin, were excellent. I would
Everything
say.
except Game 7. Game 7 he was a no-show, but
Absolutely.
besides that, yeah.
Yep,
like,
100%. No, he was a no-show in Game 7. Corey Kispert. Anybody interested in Corey Kispert?
we don't need another wing.
I would
good.
probably say no. Too.
Yeah.
What about Herb Jones coming off injury?
I would take
okay.
a flyer on her.
I'm okay with Herb Jones.
I would take a flyer.
Already
on
mentioned Austin Reeves, Grant Williams.
I'm saying love for Kobe White in the chat.
Grant Williams really ain't been shit since he left the Celtics.
guard.
I mean, I don't know, man. He can hit a 3 though. He can stretch the floor, but he's undersized. He's not giving you much defensively.
Why is Kobe White taking over the chat?
Well, because he's a
available?
good player. He's exciting to watch. You know.
Yeah, but he's not available, is he?
Everyone is believing. I don't know why, but I see him. Dante151. Give me Kobe White. How we are Bears. I want Kobe, Big Fro White, and at a discount because the Bulls are dumb AF.
But once again, we don't need another guard.
Wouldn't be mad at Kobe. Daryl Slaughter. That's where I'm saying.
Yeah,
how
at
we are
this
Bears.
point,
Pay
we don't
Kobe
need
for
another guard.
I don't know. PJ is it for me. Obi is another one of those guys. But I like Kobe as a player, but as a fit for this Pistons team,
Yeah, nah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Cortez Whitlow, a $2 super chase says, call Utah about marketing. They are tanking. I just believe it's the price that they have on marketing. And I just don't believe the Trajan Lane is going to play that ball.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening. Unless this is something where they're not gutting what they believe will be part of the future of the city.
Right, they got Ace Bailey now. Like they trying to make moves in a different direction, but I
Ace
just
looks so solid, man. in
Yeah,
that summer league.
trying to tell y'all,
Ace
man,
Bailey.
he gonna be a problem.
Yeah, he's nice.
he gonna be a problem.
He's been a
And
problem.
I see DNC Obi's last 3 years. He says 36% on 4 attempts, 40% on 3, 34% on 4 when the attempts go up.
Yeah, I mean, and I think playing with a Cade Cunningham would be. I mean, he played with at actually more pass first point guard last year, but Cade can pass just as well as Tyrese. He can just score more.
Yeah.
So just another flex for pro Cade anti Tyrese Halliburton. But you know what's funny though? I think, man, we talk about all right. So we brought up a couple of names. We brought up Kobe White and we brought up Grant Williams. I think it's so funny how universally in the chat it's like Kobe White, Kobe White, Kobe White.
That's the crazy
But when
thing.
it comes to like Grant, I think Grant Williams gets dinged because he's pudgy.
No,
I'm dead serious. I am dead serious. Like
Pudgy?
aesthetically,
A little
Kobe
bit,
White
a little
is
bit.
a little bit.
No.
I'm fat shaming, all right, God.
No,
damn,
I'm not fat.
6
shaming.
foot
It's
6,
just that
power 4.
Kobe
I do
White-
stand to myself in the mirror.
230.
How many heaters has Kobe White been on where we're just like, oh my god, like he'll score like 18 points in a quarter, but he's not consistent.
Yeah.
But
He's
like
strong.
with
But what has Grant Williams done besides be part of a great defensive team?
Yeah,
Like,
he can shoot the three.
Hey,
He
Terrell
can shoot
Lamar
the
says
three,
he
that's
likes
it.
Williams.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like upset, but at the same time, I don't think that moves the needle or really helps this team. Yes, he can shoot, but he has to be open. He's not somebody that can put the ball on the floor. You're losing something defensively. Yeah. He was only good defensively with the Celtics. That's it.
Like, I promise you, I'm not pounding the table for Grant Williams. It's just a funny experiment.
And here goes Terrell Lamar trying to reel me in to Grant Williams on the Pistons. He says he plays with grit. You know when the Kool-Aid's hard.
Okay, I guess. But he ain't do enough when he went to Memphis for me. I'm
Not
good.
much.
Like,
I feel like PJ is a dynamic player that you can give a lot of usage to off the bench.
Oh,
a
absolutely.
lot of
He's
usage
versatile, too.
Think about how much
versatile.
they gave usage they did give to a guy like Beasley. How many attempts and opportunities. And you're talking about replacing a couple vets that one started and one came off the bench.
Yeah.
I do believe that it is imperative to get a player that can be just as dynamic scoring the ball at all three levels of the court, too.
Yeah.
I like what P.J. Washington would bring to the table. And they were rumored a couple years ago to be interested, but it just didn't work out for them.
Yeah. He helped make that Dallas front court nasty defensively, man.
And
And he could shoot a three. He could put the ball on the floor. I like a lot of stuff about P.J. Washington. I low-key didn't even realize he was available still. Like, I would definitely take a flyer on him.
No, P.J. Washington, an underrated part about his game is he's one of the better rebounding guards in the NBA.
Yeah.
Averaged 6 a game for his career, averaged 8 a game last year. Just saying. I mean, I would be okay with P.J. Washington.
Yeah.
I would be okay with him.
He fits here perfectly if you ask me.
I'm kind of curious, though, about how we all think in the room about, do the Pistons need to make it? I know you kind of said trade deadline is your target, but I think it's funny how when we as fans, and I think this is justified, by the way, I'm not trying to make fun, when we trust who's in charge, whether it's Brad Holmes, whether it's Trajan Langdon, we can have whatever expectations and wants that we want or have. Mm-hmm. But then when it came to the Lions, I think the offseason was underwhelming for some, but we always fall back to it's Brad Holmes, they have a nice core. I'm seeing the same thing with Trajan Langdon, because before the offseason, if I would have been told Malik Beasley's gone, Tim Hardaway Jr.'s gone, Dennis Schroeder's gone, you get Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert, I would have probably been like, I don't know if that's good enough, but now that it's happened, I'm more content than I thought it would be. I would like another move, but when the GMs, when the presidents of basketball operations know what they're doing, we always fall back on trust them, you know?
It definitely, and I do. I trust them, and it would be different if it felt like they didn't have a plan.
Right.
But, you know, we're close to the situation. We understand that they do have a plan. They're executing that. They're not being overreactive or underreactive, in my opinion. They did make some moves. They did add to their actual assets and flexibility to continue to make moves. And so from that perspective, it's like that's what you expect. Now you get to the trade deadline, you get to next off season, and they still don't take advantage of what they have. Then I can understand some of the noise being turned up. But it almost feels like, you know, I'm wondering now what's becoming one of your bigger, cries from the people. A stretch 4 for the Pistons or an edge for the Lions?
Oh,
a stretch 4 for Pistons.
It's getting crazy now between the two.
And I would still say edge beats out everything because we're just obsessive about the fucking edge position in football. But I think they have enough, man, because it's not like they got trounced by the Knicks in that playoff series. Like, I know you said they just barely may have enough to get to that next round. I think they got more than enough, because when you look at that Knicks series, a few less mental mistakes by the Pistons, and that series could have easily swung the other way. So I think they are right there, and with them as presently constructed, I think they have more than enough to get to the second round. But you are going to need a bit more from Cade. You are going to need a bit more from Jaden Ivey and your younger guys.
Sorry, got to take that leap.
Yeah, this is how this is being built. You are trusting your young talent to kind of carry you. You just want to add ancillary pieces at this point. And the market kind of dried up very quickly with like I said, the second tax apron, all these crazy, the 17 trades and all this shit going on. The market dried up very, very quickly. And some of the names that we thought that, we would want to go after, when you look at some of the prices that were paid, it's just like, okay, I can understand maybe why Trajan is not dipping his toe just yet. There's still a lot to figure out with this team, but I do think they're right there. And as far as next year goes, we have enough to contend, for a second round playoff series next year. So I'm cool as a fan.
And I do wonder who's going to be available, what disgruntled star is going to be available at the trade deadline when you get to maximize that trade exception. I don't know if the trade exception, if it's just one where you have to trade it for a player of that value or less. I'm going to do some research just to make sure that you can combine it or not. Because I remember before we were wondering if they could be combined. Yeah. And the way that things were written before, you couldn't. Yeah. So I do want to be able to see. But I do believe it still gives them ultimately your most flexibility to even engage in multiple deals with the same team.
Yeah, I mean,
or multiple other teams. So you 14.1
that's
plus
not nothing
expiring
to
of Tobias Harris. You got a lot to play with. A whole lot if you're trading like that in the Pistons. And I do believe it behooves them to just wait and see just a little bit, because what are you getting from Ivy and Duren? Can you state without a shadow of a doubt that Duren is going to take that next step next year? And if you can't, that's where I'm like, woo. You know, do you make moves to build around these players, or do you wait to just see if Asar, Duren, and Sasser take that next step?
You can't wait too
Ivy
long.
is who we think he can be, because you're gonna have to pay these guys, or you're gonna have to flip these guys.
This year is really a make or break year in terms of that, because we can't keep waiting forever. And
it's the last year for that.
Yeah, these extensions are coming up, so decisions have to be made after this season for sure. But as far as just right now, especially considering we still got the whole summer left, there's still time for the Pistons to do something. I don't think we should be panicking as fans. I do understand wanting more. I don't think we should panic though. I think we're right where we need to be.
Yeah, I'm comfortable, and I'm glad the way the flannel said the way he did. What friends do we got to say what up, though, to? And we'll come back and have a little bit more discussion on it. Hey, shout out to Haley. Holding down on the ones and twos in the TD booth. Shout out.
Sorry, Justin mess up all the time, so.
What if I told you could place any bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you get that bet back?
Word?
Would you think I'm crazy?
I would.
Scan this QR code, enter the code Woodward1000, and if your first bet doesn't hit, you'll get your deposit back up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 back just for giving it a shot. Minimum bet is just $20. So download the Caesars Sportsbook Play app today, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Use code Woodward1000 or scan the QR code on the screen.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Baligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. The boys of summer are here, and Woodward Sports is all over the Motor City with the White Claw Tigers Tour. Come party with Woodward Sports, watch the Tigers, and sip on some White Claw all summer long. The best bars, big giveaways, live events, and a party that only Woodward Sports can throw. Ain't no party like a Woodward Sports party. Join us from 5 to 7 with the heavyweights at Second Best Bar in Detroit for the White Claw Tigers Tour, brought to you by White Claw, Easttown, and Ven Johnson.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Vince Johnson Law. Hey, oh, there we go. Thank you. Sorry, Flannel with the pass. If you've got a crisis, let Vin point the way. Step 1, verify with details and photos. Step 2, engage your attorney. Step 3, notify your insurance provider. Get justice with Vin Johnson Law.
Absolutely. And now BlackRock. Woodward Sports is turning up the heat with our new sizzling partner, BlackRock Bar and Grill. Where you get a steak and a stone served on a 755-degree volcanic rock. It's more than a meal, it's an experience. Enjoy lunch starting at $8.99. Rocking hours from 3 to 6 p.m. and daily specials. Come hungry and rock your steak only at Black Rock Bar and Grill. Stay tuned. A summer giveaway is coming that actually rocks. Visit blackrock.com.
Sam ain't gonna rock his steak because he don't cook it.
Hey, we're back. It's Wake Up Woodward Chat family. Thank you guys for the support this morning. Hey, shout out to the people there supporting intern Haley, who's holding it down, learning in the TD booth.
Shout out
right now. So shout out to you guys for supporting more and more of the team. But talking these Detroit Pistons and the way forward, I think PJ Washington is definitely a kumbaya point. But we're talking about what do they need right now? Do they need more right now? I think that's where everybody is. There's a lot of people who want to see these teams, I think, accelerate and just go straight to championship. But there is a process to get there, especially when you're talking about this cap, when you're talking about building a winner of longevity. And at least with the Pistons, they're able to have a core team that they know can make the playoffs while they're still able to protect that long-term window, which is something that the Red Wings, they're saying that they want to be able to protect that long-term window, but they haven't been able to learn how to do that, even though they're still building towards it. People are able to say, we see it on the way. We can see the light. But they're not doing that while also rewarding people with playoffs.
Facts.
And so that's where with the Pistons, you got this delicate situation where Trajan even said, this team is further along than we want it to be. I wonder if they already had their eyes set. So when you look at Tobias' contract, when you look at everybody that's going to need deals in this coming offseason, I believe Trajan Langdon entered this job already knowing it's next offseason for this team.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, at least the Pistons, like you said, have established a playoff floor, which is a big deal. We know that as long as the core, the guys that were drafted to the Pistons, develop, and Duran, Asar take another step, Ivy comes back healthy, Cade even has another level to go to, that this team is going to be fine when it comes to being consistent winners and consistent playoff teams. And maybe next offseason is where Trajan actually makes that big splash, as we like to say.
Make it happen quickly.
Hey, it's gonna be intriguing, man, to say the least. But Willie B, man, what's the way forward for you? There's some options
shaking
there.
His head. He ain't liking what's going on.
He not liking it at all because you've looked unsettled, you've looked restless this entire segment. I feel like you want them to actually go and push the gas pedal.
You got to have what you need for the next season because Beasley.
Hey, put the mic up, bro.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Right there. You gotta have a big to help you get what you need for the season because Jalen Durham, if they're not developing offensively with Stewart, they need help with a stretch big that could shoot the perimeter, that could post a little bit, which people don't believe in post moves no more, and they'll play defense interior because look what happened in the playoffs against Karl Anthony Towns. He was bullying them. You need something inside in the interior and the perimeter because the game's different nowadays. They need something now.
You think they need it
briefly?
Now?
You want to need something now? You want to do something? They want to be cheap with it? They got options. You got Bobo 7'1". Of course, it's not gonna fit, but you need.
You wanted Bobo this entire offseason.
He been
consistent.
Bobo in the entire season, or you need something. You need something like what's that guy preaching? Not preaching Akuma from New York Knicks.
Precious Achua.
Another guy.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, you need something for cheap. You can get one of those guys. You want to make a risk. You want to keep Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Durham. Okay, but something has to give.
Yeah, and I'll push back on the playoff point a little bit because you were missing Isaiah Stewart. But even with that, Cat had a couple games in that series to where he got off. But ultimately, it was Jalen Brunson was the one that really did.
Jalen Brunson and Pistons' own mistakes. I believe cost them themselves.
Really, the Pistons' mistakes.
Because if Malik Beasley is hitting, if Cade is who we know him to be, at least from just shooting. Look, we're not even talking about Cade turnovers. If his 3-point percentage was just double the 17 or whatever. What was he, like 19 or something?
It was 18.
18, yeah. That's what I'm saying. If he's just 35, 36%, we're talking something completely different in this series. Those are things that I'm looking forward to being different next year. And part of that has to do with the depth that this team does have. That's one of my main concerns is you get into a playoff series, does this team have the appropriate depth? And that to me is where my biggest concern is. It's like, do you go and make something minor that adds to your depth? Like Willie B has some low-cost options. then you still get to keep your flexibility at this trade deadline to be able to go have a better grasp of the value of your own talent as well as what else is out there. So if someone else is trying to sell you a bag of bad, you just don't understand that at the bottom of that bag, all them chips are rotten, then at least you're going to see it for the first half of a season. I wonder if there's just certain players like Malik Monk. You look at the way that contract is structured, I don't think that Trajan Langdon wanted to take a bite of that contract.
Yeah.
Do I think that he said, oh, Malik Monk, you going to offer him? All right, hold on. Yeah. Put you on hold.
Right.
Look at everything. Make his other calls. And then just left them on hold.
Right.
That's what I think is really happening.
Especially
because he values that long-term cap sheet being flexible for them.
It'd be different if we were like extremely needy for a guard. I don't think we were in a situation where we absolutely needed a guard, because you do have Marcus Sasser, and I know he's not the facilitator that we would like him to be, but he's definitely a spark plug scorer off the bench that can help hold down your offense for stretches of time. So I don't think they were in a dire need, especially with the signing of Karis LeVert. So, yeah, I'm not touching that Malik Monk contract, man, especially if it doesn't make it all the sense in the world. And I don't think it does. Like, I would love to have him on the team. I just don't think that that's a move that's really going to push us too much further over where we're at now. So,
yeah, and that's the other component of it that you balance is what is this doing for us? Is it worth the fire?
Is it really
for
taking us from
what?
second round to that next plateau? I don't think so.
100% get you on that one, man. And I see some people in the chat here. Super Bowl says that Cat is beating us from 3, not in the paint, as it relates to you bringing up Stu. Stu is one of your best perimeter defending big men in all of the league. He's one of your best switchers. He's one of your best pick and roll big defenders.
Shot blocker.
Stu took the leap this year. Paint protection and rim protection.
1.3 blocks
He took
per
a
game.
huge step forward defensively across the board, and he already had come into the league known to be a not just a good perimeter defender on versatile bigs, but he's also somebody who could switch off on the guards and wings and play effectively too. So they missed a lot with Isaiah Stewart. When you're talking about even bump and recover type defense on guys like Jalen Brunson, they missed a lot. Guys like Mikal Bridges. Stewart being out of that series
was huge.
It took a whole lot. We can't sit here and say all season he's the heartbeat of the Pistons. Oh, he's as T. Falls said, they got one a-hole and you need at least one, and it's Stu.
Yep.
We understand what he did. We remember that fourth quarter, that last game against the Knicks. Everybody was talking about, dag, Stu really got Cat figured out.
Yeah.
So I that was a big loss for them, man. And I know that they start off the season with the potential to maybe move and make some front court changes, but they stuck with their guys. I do think that they're going to run that back and look to add to a Duren and a Stewart rather than subtract one of those guys in pursuit of the front court that we want to see.
And we'll see. Hopefully the trade deadline presents some opportunities. It's fun. I know Willie brought up Bol. He's somebody who I think the entire NBA universe has been waiting on to take that step and stay healthy. He was
supposed to be a Piston.
You know what Bol is?
Already. Yeah.
Bol is the modern day Thon Maker.
Yes.
They're the same person.
They are the same person.
And I'll tell you what, remember Thon Maker's rookie year where he got almost no usage, but he was like really efficient. It's like, oh, dude, Thon Maker's going to be like a star, and it just never happened. That's kind of been Bol. Although Bol's problem is he's hurt all the time, too.
Yeah,
I feel like for cheap.
It's the knees, man.
I feel like Bol could be a little bit better than what Thon Maker was in his time as a Piston.
I agree.
But you're right, the health, it's the health component of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We talk about what Karis LeVert could bring to the Pistons. Honestly, it's just stay healthy. We know that he's talented, but can he stay healthy? I trust Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson to play effectively off of the facilitators that we have, man. So, do we have any other friends to say what up, though, too, before we jump into a little bit of mailbag? I think did we do massage chair and loom?
We didn't do loom, I know that.
We didn't?
Yeah.
Hey, let's do loom. Let's do Planet Fitness.
All right.
We'll get into mailbag.
Loom Cannabis Company, man. Summer is heating up and Michigan is buzzing. And I'm talking about the drink that's delivering 7.5 milligrams of real THC wrapped in bubbles. Because who don't like bubbles, man? Crafted with real fruit juice and no artificial sweeteners. They're bold in flavor, but low in calories and 100% hangover free. Trust me, I know. Perfect for poolside sips, bonfire nights, or late day chills. Available at Loom's 38 locations across the state of Michigan. Use code WSN30 for 30% off your entire order online or in store. You can get all of this at loom.com.
Hey, Planet Fitness as well. Like, probably do Planet Fitness and Loom in reverse. But, hey, It is what it is.
My bad.
They have the. It's not your fault. It's just if you were to consume them, you should not the order.
well, yeah.
Not the order. Yes. Oh yeah. You guys are doing great.
I don't went to the gym high. It ain't the worst.
I'm sure you have, and that's okay. Teens ages they do this thing called the High School Summer Pass, where teens ages 14 through 19 work out for free all summer long. Goes from June 1st to August 31st. It's a great thing that they're allowing for teenagers to keep their physical fitness going, even if they're not in physical education class in school, if their sports aren't in season. Go work out at Planet Fitness, and for all other members, keep going, keep paying those cheap memberships, and it's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential. I saw a couple things here in the chat. Did you see anything?
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables. New designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag.
Man,
check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Hoodies, tees, and the hats that are guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com and click shop.
Damn right.
Shop. Y'all harder. Click shop, man. Visit that merch tab. Shout out to Spin Dog 2 in the building.
Shout out.
Would you happen to say that Spin Dog has aura? That's how I was just taking a
Spinny
gander at his aura in the lobby of Lady Jane's.
Spinny got some of the best aura at the fucking network. What are we talking about?
Hey, shout
Spin more racks, man. What are we talking about? That's my guy, man. Shout out Spinny, bro. That's my dog.
And you know what? We're going to jump into this mailbag. We're back with Wake Up Woodward, Flannel Sam, Kool-Aid up here on the desk. We got a lot of the cast and crew in the building. Shout out to our brother JB Smooth. Can't wait to get you back in studio.
Yes.
But a lot of people are believing that this is a solution at 4. Shad 216. Let Stu be the stretch 4 he was destined to be. And just so I don't disrespect Weezy, who's been saying this all show since we started this segment effectively, he's also in support of stretch Stu. The problem is this. He can't play over 19 minutes a game and stay healthy.
Yeah.
They realized last year, reduce the minutes, and you got the best season out of Stu. A really good season. I thought he outperformed his contract last season.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they decided, let's turn up the physicality, let's turn up the pressure, we saw him get hurt.
And you play to his strengths too. He's not the best shooter. I don't mind him, attempting threes, but he don't need to be somebody that's shooting 3 or 4 threes a game. If he's open and has a look, sure, but he's not consistent.
You don't want him hunting those shots.
Yeah, he's not consistent.
Take him in rhythm. Take him within the aspects of, all right, they're just going to leave you open, then definitely be a threat. But he shouldn't be a guy that's just parked in the corner, man. What do you think about this?
No, I mean, I think the way that he was used last year was perfect.
Yeah.
Just given the circumstance. You got the best year of his career in terms of his impact on the game, obviously defense, but you also look, and you alluded to it, under 20 minutes per game. He had never done that his entire career. Reduce his usage, reduce his minutes, augment his impact. That's what we need from him. And that's okay, by the way. I'm not mad at it. But as a starting forward, no.
And I'm not trying to like pocket watch or keep no. If he can go and become this player, then go and become this player.
Yeah.
But
he would have to drastically get better at shooting. Drastically. If you want him to stretch forward start, like.
Oh, man. Let me see here. Big Con 51, Feldman mailbag. If the MLB All-Star game was played like 4 nations, USA versus Canada, who wins?
I don't know. Probably like a Latin American
The Venezuelans.
team.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, not us.
The
That's
Dominicans.
all that I know.
Wait, for what?
You know what? This is a good one for you.
What are you talking about?
the
the World
baseball
Classic?
All-Star game.
Yeah, if it was 4
I mean,
nations,
we've
who would
already
win,
seen
USA or
It's
Canada?
the World Baseball Classic. Japan is the best country. They won it last year. Shohei
Japan is a
Ohtani struck out
monster.
Mike Trout to win the whole thing. I mean, the U.S. is the second best, and the Latin countries are good, but they just don't have the depth to compete with the teams like Japan and the United
top
States
heavy.
that have unreal rosters up to down with great pitching, great offense. I mean, I love the World Baseball Classic. Coming back in 2020, like next year, it will be in March. So everyone get excited for that.
Definitely. And you know what, man? Shout out to one half of Woodward ringside, KG.
Shout out.
What
Hey.
I mean, just the happenings of wrestling, man. Just some tidbits of some things that you and JB covered in your last episode, just so we can make sure we got it present on this episode.
Yeah, and forgive us because we weren't able to get up our full episode that we recorded last week. We were having some issues with our streaming platform, but we do have a recap of Night of Champions that took place last week. And, of course, this week, we previewing AEW All In Texas. It's going to be a big, huge event for AEW. They cooking right now. I'm really looking forward to that. And on the WWE side, of course, we got to talk about Saturday night's main event that is coming up and the Women's Evolution pay-per-view. So there's a lot going on in the wrestling space. Also, we got to touch boxing as well. This is a big month for boxing. Clarissa Shields fights this month.
That is right.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao.
She's where, LCA?
Yeah, she got LCA. Yep.
Dope.
She is going for the heavyweight championship, or defending the heavyweight championship, should I say? And Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement this month. It's a lot of big happenings in the fight world, but we gonna have that covered on this week's episode. So stay tuned.
I cannot wait. And I see Weezy D in the chat. Listen, man. No matter what we agree or disagree on, I always appreciate the support. It says, "Good show, fellas. Y'all cooked today. Good to have you back, KG."
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Shout out to Terrell, Lamar, and Greg, man. I saw the love. But shout out to everybody that showed me love, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I see you, Javier Bears. Sabonis is a dog. Yeah, I wish we could definitely get Demotis Sabonis.
We get Sabonis. We talking Eastern Conference. Like,
that's our other facilitator at that point in time.
Yeah.
Like,
that shit would be different.
Oh, man, I'm just looking through here. Shout out to the chat, man. This was a good one. It's time to break it down.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a good show.
You know what?
Yeah.
We'll be able to do this for real today.
Sam made it through the episode. Thank God. We almost lost my boy today.
I did.
It was epic, man. It was classic, too, man. Classic. I thought that it was passionate. I thought people stood on business. And you know what? I don't think anybody was surprised or taken, aback by our takes. It was, I think, classically us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything different.
That's
if you broke, then I would be like, wait. Flannel, stop. What is going to cut to a break?
Right.
But you did. So shout out to you, man. And Dante151, can we talk Pistons Summer League roster? Tomorrow's Woodward Pistons Wednesdays. We got you.
Hey.
We got you. Shout out to Stick walking into the building. Godfather of Woodward Sports. And to break this thing down, we got intern Haley in the building. Good job. She held it down in the TD booth for certain segments. Got the ad reads down. Shout out to you, man. And we got intern Noah, intern Ryan in the building. But that dude Justin in the TD booth holding it down for our MVP JB Smooth. Shout out to you, that dude, Justin. One of the best here, bro.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, Kool-Aid. So nice to have KG back. So nice to get JB back. I believe tomorrow or the day after. So it's going to be nice having all 5 of us in the studio hanging out like we used to. So can't wait for that, and appreciate all the love. And shout out to Haley. She really killing it. Learned TD booth pretty quick. So hopefully she can get
gotta have a good teacher then, huh? He's doing all right over there. Shout out to that dude, Justin, man. Manager Supreme. We got over here in the sound booth, Woodward Sports.
Give it to me, man.
Return.
Come on,
Woodward
dog.
Sports MVP. We got Comeback Player of the
Come
Year.
on,
Now
dog.
that's Loaded Rookie of the Year.
Come on,
Detroit's
dog.
#1 draft pick. It's my guy, KG. What up, though, brother?
Hey, man.
Black Hollywood. What up, though?
Black
Appreciate
Arrow.
that, man. I ain't got the shades today, but no, shout out to all the love, man. Y'all don't understand, man. It feels so good to be back with my brothers, man, in the trenches. I appreciate all the love and support. Let's keep this shit rolling, man. Y'all know.
Willie B, I see you over there, man. Crash out style. He put the smile on for y'all now. He's about to put the camera on him. Shout out to Willie B, man.
It's
Shout
been
out to you, bro.
smooth, man. Another good to see KG back.
Appreciate that.
But, you know, it was been a while, man. It was good waiting. Glad to see you back. It's like a big family reunion over here, so I love the atmosphere, and I'm gonna make sure next time, Flannel, I was about to check your blood pressure, you know, just make sure you be all right. So, but everything's just a good day, man. Another way to, you know, make some great content and make some classics hits. That's it.
Yeah, right.
Hey, and you know what, man? Shout out to Willie B as well. Been giving your time in the sound booth for the Lions Weekly Update with Matt Broder, Sean Beligian, and one Terry Foster. Shout out to you, man. The commitment, being up there early, getting out here on Sundays, man. I just wanted to make sure I gave you a tip of the cap for that.
Much
Shout out to you.
Thank you.
Hey, and you know what? The Veteran Squad, Veteran Network, man. My guy over here, Flannel freaking Sam, dog. What up, though?
I shortchanged John Kelly earlier. He has a career 98 RBIs and a career OPS of 628 and a career batting average of 230.
You can't
That's
stop
y'all
Don
king.
Kelly.
That's your king.
You damn right it is.
Yeah.
What's his last words?
Praise Javier.
It is your boy, Brandon Dan, Katie, Trey Kool-Aid, credential.
Negative wins above replacement in his career. Negative 0.2.
Waco Woodward, y'all. Hey, most importantly, have a blessed day. Smash that like button on your way out if you didn't get a chance. Leave a comment even, man. Go over there and say what up, though, KG, man. Or say what up, though, to one of these points we did. Or eviscerate us. We don't care. But we appreciate the support and all the banter. Have a great day. It's Waco Woodward, y'all.